Hey guys, Zombie here, and welcome back to another Among Us tips and tricks video. Today we're going to be going over the POLUS keyhole strat, which I personally hate, but it's important to know, as well as just what common tasks are and what they imply. Common tasks are a pretty good way to figure out who an imposter is and catching them in a lie. Before we get started though, I was looking at the stats and noticed over 95% of the people who watch my video aren't subscribed. So if you can go down and check right now that you're subscribed, I'd really appreciate it. Also, I know a lot of you watch me for my Among Us content, but I've been playing a lot of Hades recently and put up a Hades beginner tips and tricks video last week, so I'll leave that in the info card on the top right if you're interested in that. I'd really appreciate it if you give it a watch. I think it's a great game, and if you've never heard of it, I would still recommend watching it because it's just that good of a game. It might get you interested in it. As you're checking if you're subscribed, if you can go down to the description and check out my Discord, Twitter, and Twitch, I'd also really appreciate that. Without any further ado, let's get into the video. So what are common tasks? Well, common tasks are a type of task that every single crewmate has in one game. So in the pre-game lobby, when you're sitting with your friends getting ready to start a game, there's you can look at the left side of the screen where it'll show a list of all the settings, and there's short tasks, long tasks, and common tasks. So we're going to be focusing on the common tasks today. And it's a task that every crewmate's going to have. So if one crewmate has it, every crewmate has it. If if you don't have that task and it's a common task, then no crewmate has that task. The same thing goes for the imposters. If all the crewmates have this task, then the imposters have a fake task of the same thing. So for example, on the Skeld, there's two common tasks. There's wiring and swiping the card in admin. So, for example, if you have one common task on, you'll get one or the other. So if you only get the swipe card, then no one has wires. If you only get wires, then no one has the admin swipe. So I think the more common catch you'll make on this map would be you're doing one common task, which most of the time I run two anyway, but if you run one and you have the swipe and someone says I was fixing wires, or you see someone in front of a wire panel faking it, you can know that they are an imposter because there's no task to fix wires if you only have the swipe card in a one common task game. That was cool. So this is the card swipe if you're unfamiliar with it. It's an admin. And we'll see if I can get it first try. Probably not. Pog. A second try, that's pretty good. I've heard on mobile that's really easy. On PC, I think that's a pain in the ass. But anyway, so that's one of the common tasks on this map. So if you have this task, everyone does. So if you notice, it's harder on this map than, say, the keyhole on POLUS, which we'll get to later. If you see everyone do this, but not two people, or if you see someone do this twice, there might be an imposter. I mean, people do weird things, so it's possible they're not an imposter and did it anyway, and that's just part of the reason why everyone loves this game, right? So the other one on this map is wires, which will always start here in electrical, but then the next two locations are random, to my knowledge. So, actually, I'm not even sure if it always starts in electrical, so don't quote me on that. All I know is it's a common task to have wires, but I know that not everyone's gonna have the same wires they have to fix. So that's it on Skeld, so let's move on to Mira. Okay, so here we are on Mira. Once again, we have wiring, same deal as the Skeld, and we'll see the same thing on POLUS as well, that wires is a common task. If you have it, everyone has wires. If you don't have it, no one does. Now, we don't have a swipe on Mira, which is probably a good thing considering it's an annoying task, but we have entering the ID code in admin. So it's the task right here in the front of admin, where you open it up, you have to pull the little ID card out of the wallet. I guess maybe you don't have to, maybe you can just do it anyway, but I've never seen someone try. Actually, I'm curious now. I can't tell what the numbers are. Oh, is it the same number every time? It is. So if I just do 09319, does that work? It does. That's interesting. I didn't actually know you could do that. But regardless, that's the task on Mira. That's common. So if you have that task, everyone does. If you don't, no one does. So if you don't have this task and you see someone sitting in front of this for a few seconds, like just chilling like this, it's pretty safe to assume they're an imposter or they're trolling as a crewmate, which honestly isn't terribly uncommon, which I don't like at all, but you know who you're playing with better than I do. You know, if you play with the same people, you know the people who are likely to kind of troll like that, but that's just something to keep in mind, that nothing in this game is really absolute unless you see someone get killed. But that could give you some very substantial information in a game, combined with the one on the Skeld. And now we're going to move on to Polus, which has the infamous keyhole task, which, if you're unaware of it, I'm sure you've probably heard it before or got called out for it and were very confused, and you got voted out round 1 as an imposter and had no idea why. So let's head over there. Alright, so here we are on Polus. Like I said, we're going to have wiring on this map as well. You'll have 2 more after the first one, but if you have wires, everyone does. We'll get to the key task in a second, because it's probably the most infamous common task for good reason. We'll get to that in 1 minute here. So again, there's no swipe on this map, and there's no insert ID. We have scanned the boarding pass, which is actually over in Vitals, compared to the other 2 commons, which were in Admin. This one's over in Vitals. So essentially, you just open it up, you click the button, you flip the QR code, you scan for your free taco at Taco Bell, and you're good to go. Most of the time, you'll see people do this right at the beginning of the second round, after the first meeting, because everyone spawns right here, has a task here. You see almost everyone just come over here and do the task. So you'll probably, and you'll understand more of the implications of that in a second as we explain the keyhole task, which has ruined many games for many people. It's actually banned in my Discord. So if you play games on my Discord and you use this strat, it's actually against the rules. And I ask people to gentlemen and all... let me explain it first and then tell you how I handle it in my server. So this is the keyhole task. This is the dropship where everyone spawns. So now that we know what common tasks are, and if one crewmate has it, everyone does, and if you don't have it, then no one does. So, at the beginning of a game, if no one knows what common tasks are or how they work, 8 crewmates, 2 imposters, all the 8 crewmates walk to right here, open it up, stick their key in, turn it, and they're good to go. The 2 people standing here doing nothing are the imposters, because they didn't do the common task. This is always done round 1 because you spawn here, and it's the best chance you'll ever get to do it. You see it on screen right as you spawn. Even if you don't even open this up, you'll see it glowing, so you'll know to walk over. And essentially, you know if 2 people don't do it, I mean, they could be faking it, which has become a thing. It's a way of gentlemaning, a form of being a gentleman with this task. An uncommon one at that, but there's a few ways to gentleman this task. But people have started to fake it and trying to bait out imposters using it. But at the simplest form, if no one knows what a common task is and that is a common task, you'll see 8 people huddled right here and 2 people standing here. Imposter number 1 and imposter number 2. And I think it's the dumbest strat ever, and I hate it, but that's a personal preference thing. So the way I go about it in my server is there's a rule that unless you have a unanimous vote before a game starts, with all 10 people saying they don't mind using the strat, which means they at least understand what the strat is and can play around it, everyone has to, at the beginning of the game, walk to here, task or not. Everyone just walks to here, waits like 3 or 4 seconds, then goes. Just because for people who don't understand it, it completely eliminates it for the rest of the game. So let's say 5 out of 10 people know the strat, no common tasks, and they understand that this is a common task. If you have everyone come over here for 3 or 4 seconds, and 5 people don't understand, the 5 people who understand common tasks don't have an advantage now. But in random lobbies or games without that rule, you might see people accusing people round 1, right out rip, you start the game, this happens, and they run right to the button, they hit it, and they say, these 2 people are the imposter, we all did the common task except for them, let's vote them out. And, unless they understand and are baiting, they'll be right. If the 2 imposters don't know about this, they instantly lose, which I think is horrible, and it's why I don't like it. So, I avoided talking about this in previous videos because I hate this strat so much, and I hate when only a few people in a lobby know it, because then they get a lot of information while other people are just confused about how they knew they were imposter. Because the people who don't understand and are crewmates will just do it because they see it. The people who don't know about it and are imposters will just stand here watching them do their task because they're not paying attention to their fake tasks, which is a way you can counter it. So let's get into the way you counter this as imposter. Assuming there's no gentleman rule like there is in my server. So as an imposter, it'll give you a list of fake tasks, and while I talk, I'm going to run over and switch to an imposter to show you what I mean. So the fake tasks will include the common tasks that the crewmates have. So if the crewmates have the key task, it'll say, well, this is actually doesn't look, give me 1 second, I'll keep explaining them. So if the crewmates have that task, it'll tell you that it's one of your fake tasks. Again, of course, it reset my tasks. I went out and in, so let me just quickly put all the common tasks back on. Let's get dropship, insert keys, and let's get scanning the taco at Taco Bell. Which was that in? Doesn't matter, I think it's office. Yeah. So at the beginning of the game, you'll spawn here, and you can either look here, which is slow, because you'll have more tasks than just 3. But you start the game, you hit tab, and if you see this, because you'll be standing right here, if you see this, you walk up to it. If you don't, you don't. And then no one knows. But the key as imposter on Polus is to spawn in, hit tab, and just see, is there a task right here or is there not? Because you can immediately get yourself voted out if you don't check this. I would recommend telling everyone in your lobby about this, just so there's not asymmetrical information. You don't have to. I just personally hate it, and that's just my own opinion about it. But I know a lot of people have been very curious about what it is and why I've been so hesitant to talk about it, and that's why. I just think it's a borderline unfair strat. If not everyone knows. If everyone knows, then you can do whatever you want with it, because then people can fake it. Because I know crewmates who will fake not doing it, or crewmates who will fake doing it to see if they can bait imposters with them. Because sometimes imposters won't check, they won't hit tab, they won't look if it's a task. They'll just see, is anyone running there? And if yes, I'll run there too. And don't do that. Always hit tab to check. Because people might bait you by just running here to see if you'll follow them. So that's about it on common tasks. Once again, if you could please make sure you're subscribed, I'd really appreciate it. And yeah, that's gonna be it from me for now. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you in another video, and until then, see you soon.